As they scroll up from far away because the sun is in my eyes, hence the extra wrinkles. But all right, well, let's get started, and then those of you that join in will get there when you get there. So good morning, happy Sunday. I know it's kind of a crazy day. Kind of woke up this morning and I'm like, wait, what day is it? I don't know, we have no idea what time of day it is. So we're just gonna start by kind of loosening up that body. And again, we're gonna really focus on the hips and back. I want you to remember that this is your workout, not just mine. So whatever feels good to you is what I want you to do. At any time you need to go into any type of child's pose or savasana or whatever feels good, let's roll the shoulders back. Please just do that. You can rest. If you don't like being on your back, I'm going to show you some different exercises for your hips and piriformis. And so for those of you that can't be on your back, I'll show you a standing one. I don't have anything to hold on to really, but I'll show you. And then just loosen everything up. Just take a slow, deep breath. Maybe you want to run outside and reset your mat and join me outside in the fresh air. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. A little bit chilly, but feels really good with the sun. And then loosening up those hips. We're gonna get nice and deep into those hips. We carry a lot of stress in our hips, so today you might even feel a little more tight than you normally would in those hips, especially with everything that's going on right now. Just loosening everything up, maybe getting a little deeper into it. And I just want you to just slow your breath down. And I want you to create a bubble on your mat here. So whoever's yelling at you outside, you might hear some yelling. My son's working out outside, and he doesn't like doing the workout I gave him. So he's out there screaming. He's doing some kettlebell stuff. Making him do some cardio. So if you hear cussing, I apologize. It might be him. So I'm gonna just create that bubble and ignore him. I've learned that through the 21 years of being a mom. And shake it out and roll the wrists other way. Those of you that are teachers probably have learned that as well, is somehow you can drown out the noise when you need to. So Felicia, if you're watching and participating and thinking about you, sure we can drown things out. Roll the shoulders back. Shake it out. Big inhale, reach up nice and deep. And then exhale, just place those hands in heart center. And let's just take a moment to be grateful for all the things that we have, and kind of know that even though we have to have our social distancing, that we're able to still be with our families, and probably a lot closer with our families right now than we've been in so long. Maybe this is a scary sign to just say slow down. Let's inhale, reach it up nice and tall. Open up that heart and just let it beam up to the sky. So if you're not outside, just imagine that sky all the way up on your roof. Inhale, reach up. We're gonna exhale, hands in heart center, and slowly take it down to a forward fold. We're gonna pedal those heels, still continuing to warm up those hamstrings. Just let your head hang heavy. And I like to move a lot, just kind of feels good to me. But if you like to stay still, please feel free to. I'm gonna hold it still now and shift my weight forward and back. I'm not really still, but every movement is controlled. Just lifting those toes, and I'll turn occasionally so you can see what's happening. Inhale, halfway up. And on that halfway up, you're gonna press your fingertips into your shin, draw your shoulder blades back. We want a nice flat back here. Exhale, drop it down. Wiggle your shoulders. We'll hold our stretches a little longer, but we're gonna wait till we get a little warmer. Inhale, bring your arms behind you, lift yourself to a standing position, and open up. Let's go ahead and open that heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center as you fall forward into that forward fold. And let's just lift our right heel, resting our belly on the thigh, stretching through that hamstring on that straight leg. Good morning, Sophie. Switching heels right here. Let your head hang heavy. And resting the heels, take it halfway up. Exhale, drop it down, arms behind you. Bring it back up to standing position. Open up those hearts. Maybe now you're noticing that back get a little warmer. Exhale, let's do that one more time as we forward fold. Lifting that right heel up, resting the head. This time you're gonna take your opposite hand and then rest it on the ground. If you need a block, you're welcome to grab a block or maybe just like a water bottle or something that you can balance on. And we're gonna lift that opposite arm up. So the block is here to help. If you're a little tighter through those hamstrings, you can come up higher. Try not to strain where you're at. And slowly dropping that hand, dropping your foot. Let's lift that other heel up, placing that hand on the earth, and then reaching to the sky. Maybe now you're working on some balance. So we're slowly adding on. Inhale, reach down. And then just roll the shoulders, gently pressing. Imagine hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, take it down, arms behind you. Bring those arms up to a stand. And then open your heart, pressing those hips slightly forward. Squeeze those glutes here to support that back. Inhale. Let's move on. Exhale, take it down to that forward fold. And just follow your breath or your movements. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, take it down. So adding on, we're gonna lift that right heel up. Left hand to the center. And right arm up to the sky. Good. Exhale, switch to the other side. And if you need to take some time to transition from one to the other, please take your time. Remember, you can always push pause. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, take it down. This time we're gonna bend our knees and we're gonna drop down onto our toes. Now, if this bothers your knees, just keep your hips up, but shift your weight back, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna work through our tailbone and start warming up. So you can either be here with your knees halfway, and we're gonna push our tailbone side to side. Or if you'd like, you can be down low if that feels good. And we're just gonna point our tailbone side to side. Good. So you may notice that one of my foot doesn't, my right foot doesn't go down and do a certain thing. So I just broke my ankle a couple months ago. Well, 4.5 months ago. But so I have to do modifications as well. So I'll let you know if I'm doing something a little different that maybe I want to show you something the same. So hold it center. Let's push that tailbone back up to the sky. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale down, bring those arms back. And then lift up. Back to your stance, squeezing those glutes. Open your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands in heart center. So we're going to just take a moment here. And I'm just going to step back a tiny bit because I need more space. But we're going to lift that right foot up. And I want you to draw your belly button in. This is fine too if you're working on your balance. And you can hold it a little higher. Engaging through those abdominals, lift that knee up. We're gonna swing that right leg back to a high lunge. So what I'd like for you to do in this high lunge is make sure that your foot is slightly back and that your chest is nice and tall. Everything's facing your forward, whatever that is. Inhale, reach up nice and tall into a nice high lunge. Now we're opening through the hips here, so we're gonna get started on our stretches. So what I'd like for you to do is slightly press your pelvis forward and lengthen through that hip flexor right here. Arms come up. Now notice that if your shoulders are coming up, we're creating tension, so let's drop our shoulders down. Bending that front knee a little deeper. And if you'd like, you can look up to the sky, or maybe you just wanna open up your heart but look forward. Inhale, reach up. And we're gonna exhale and step into our warrior two. So in warrior two, let's push that tailbone down so I want everything squeezing. Chest up and reach both directions. Nice and strong, bending that knee. Let's point that knee for your forward. Take a slow, deep breath. Bringing that hand behind you, resting that arm on the thigh. We're gonna go into a reverse warrior. So our knees are nice and bent. Holding it here. And feel that stretch go from the armpit down to the side of the hip. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale, we're gonna rest that right arm on that thigh and reach that left arm over your head, extend. So what I'd like for you to do is open the shoulders. Remember, you could be up here, so depending on your flexibility, really really lengthen from that armpit again, down the side of the body, and then open up to warrior two. Good. Take your time. We're going to cartwheel those hands to frame your foot. And then turning that back foot, we're going to step our right leg back into a downward dog. Hold that downward dog, pushing your tailbone up. Now we're going to hold this downward dog for a second here and just pedal your heels. So pedaling your heels, working through the back, working through your hamstrings. And let's hold that downward dog as we point our tailbone up to the sky and press your chest towards your thighs. So we're going to create a V with that body. Let's look at our fingertips. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands. So we're keeping this pretty gentle today, but you're welcome to float your feet, create a little more heat and power in that workout if you'd like. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, take it down, arms behind you as you stand up, and open that heart. So we're going to do the other side. Inhale, reach up, hands to heart center when you're ready. Take a moment. Notice maybe that heart rate's getting up a little bit. Good. So we're going to go to the other side, and this is my side that's not strong enough to balance yet. And so I'm just going to keep my toe down, but if you want to lift it up and keep it up, go right ahead. Okay, so everybody's different. If I can even hold it up for a second, I get excited. But let's hold it here and just engage. So I'm still working on strengthening through my ankle, my shin, and my feet. Maybe you are too, and everybody's different, so that's okay. Hold it here. Good morning. I see a couple of people scrolling up, so give me some hearts, some love. Thank you for joining me. And let's go ahead. We're going to bring that leg back to our high lunge. And then this side might look a little bit different for me because of my ankle, but my balance is a little bit off. So if you have issues with your balance, a good way to help with this is to stagger your feet just a tiny bit more so you're not so much on one train track, but you're on two. Just a little tip. Reach those arms up. So maybe this is your first time doing yoga now that we're home and you're joining me. So thank you. Everybody's experience is different. If you'd like, you can open those arms. If you'd like to look up, you can. So my balance is not there yet. So I'm going to look forward. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, we're going to turn that body to our warrior two. Same thing. Let's tuck the hips in. Reach those arms nice and long. Deepening that bend in the knee with the weight over the heel. We want that knee facing forward. So strengthening, but also opening through the hips. And imagine a string from your belly button all the way up to the sky, standing nice and tall. So let's do that warrior, a reverse warrior. Palm faces up, and we're going to gently reach back. Inhale, warrior two. Let's exhale to our side angle. So the arm comes on the thigh. Reach your fingertips all the way to the front of your mat, and then roll that shoulder slightly back, opening that chest. And if you'd like to look up, you're welcome to. But if that bothers your neck, just look forward. And then open up, back to warrior two. Take a breath, exhale, cartwheel those hands. We're going to turn that back foot, step that front foot back to your downward dog, and let's hold it here. Wiggle your head. Feel free to pedal your heels again. We're going to go through that flow a little bit faster, but we are going to add on. So here's where those hips are really going to come in. Right now we're working on the back. Let's hold it, and we're just going to wiggle our tail. Kind of wagging your tail. You can bend your knees deeper and push that knee to the opposite elbow. Opening up to that lower back. Holding it center. Look at your fingertips. You can walk or float your feet towards your hand. Hold that forward fold. Wiggle the shoulders. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale down. Arms behind you. Bring it to a stand. And open that heart. So we're going to go through that again, but we're going to add on really getting deep into the hips. And exhale. So we're going to lift that right knee back up. Find your balance. Again, this is completely fine. Still strengthening through that leg and core. And we're going to swing that leg back to our high lunge. Good. Let's reach those arms up nice and tall. Open your heart. Feel free to look up if you choose. Pressing that hip slightly forward. Opening through the front of the thigh. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. Tucking those hips in. Inhale, we're going to that reverse warrior as we reach our arm back, gently resting that arm on that thigh. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reach to the front of your mat, extended side angle, draw your shoulder blade back. And inhale, warrior two. Adding on this time, we're gonna cartwheel those hands, frame your foot, turn your back foot, and let's stop right here in this runner's lunge, dropping the back knee and flattening your foot. Good, so we want that knee over the heel, and since I'm on concrete, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little blanket here for my knees. Okay, so my mat isn't enough, you're welcome to do that as well. And we're gonna hold it right here. Now we wanna sink our hips forward, but not down. So we don't wanna arch that back, and let's hold it right here. Take a deep breath. Maybe you wanna lift up a little bit if it's too deep, and you're welcome to have your blocks. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Drop the shoulders. You can open up your heart just like we did standing. Inhale, reach up. Now this time we're gonna exhale and take our hands to the inside of our 2 feet, or of our foot, okay? So you might be able to see a little easier this way with your hand here. And we're gonna actually walk our foot off to the side wherever you feel comfortable. And from there, we're gonna lean that knee off to the side and place the weight on the blade of your foot. So notice already that deep stretch of the hip, and then through the front of the thigh. And if you'd like, you can rest down and hold it here. Remember, you have something like even a pillow can work. It'll give you a little bit of height, and you can rest on your block and drop that knee. So we're gonna stay here for just a moment. And again, we talked about how we carry a lot of emotion in our hips. And so when we're going through a lot of stuff, and you may not even realize it, learning, you might not even realize it. Sometimes when we get into these deep hip stretches, all of a sudden emotions start coming up, and that's okay, just let it go, breathe. Remember, you're in your bubble. And either way, nobody really cares. Everyone's feeling the same thing, maybe different, but we're all feeling stuff. And so nobody cares if you cry. We're here for you. Maybe it makes you laugh, you know. Everyone carries their emotions differently. A couple more breaths here, really letting that knee sink down towards the earth. Notice how that gravity is opening up. Now, because we're only doing this one time, we're gonna add a little bit deeper stretch to this. We're gonna gently place that hand. Now you can stay right here if you'd like, but to deepen that stretch, you can rest your hand here or elbow down. And we're gonna gently open up the chest. Now I'm not really pressing on my knee, but I'm opening up that chest here. So I've got a nice twist through the hips. I'm feeling a stretch through the inner thigh on my front leg, and hip flexor on my back leg. And if you want to lift up to the sky with that arm, so that arm can reach up maybe a little further back, opening up. You can roll your wrists. So there's all kinds of options. Just taking your breath slow and controlled. And let's unwind and bring those hands back up. Walking that foot back to center, framing your foot. Now to counterbalance that, we're gonna curl our back foot and lift that back knee. Take that front leg and lift it to your downward dog. First, get your position, and then take that same leg that was forward up to the sky. Now, if you'd like, you can turn your body and open up to the front of that hip on the same side as you look under your armpit, and shift your weight all the way back. You can flex your foot, open those hips up deeper. If you want to go into your wild thing, you're welcome to. Gently relaxing that foot down to down dog. Remember, you can always go to child's pose here. I'm going to meet you there in just a second. Let's take a second, gently drop those knees nice and wide, flatten the toes but stick them together, and we're going to sit back into our child's pose. And just give yourself a little rest, maybe wiggle from side to side. This feels really good on that low back. You can rest your head down. And reaching those fingertips. Now if it bothers your shoulders to reach your fingertips, you can bend your elbows. And you can rest your head on your forehead, or maybe just on the ground. Okay, so whatever feels good to you. But what I want you to imagine doing is pressing your chest towards the earth. And if this bothers your knees, you'll still get a stretch if your hips are up and you're here. Okay, so there's all kinds of options. Let's bring those hands underneath the shoulders, bringing those knees under your hips, curl your toes. Then lift yourself back to your downward dog. You might need to move those feet a little further back. Take a slow, deep breath as you look forward. And we're gonna walk our hands or float our feet towards your hands. And you can keep that blanket there because we're gonna use it again. Inhale halfway up. Exhale down. Let's stand in position. Hold it here, open your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart send. Notice the difference. The leg that was in the front, the one that we really opened the hip, might feel different than that other leg. So kind of be aware of how your body feels. This whole side feels longer. And take a breath. So we're gonna do the other side. Here's a side that I can't really balance. So we're gonna bring that left knee up and hold it right here. And you guys can have your knee up or just touching, whatever you're working on right now, but we're gonna stay right here. Morning. If you're just joining me, thank you for joining me. Happy Sunday. Hope you're enjoying the beautiful view behind me. And then once you've got that balance here, we're gonna swing that leg back into our high lunge, going back to where we were on the other side. Gently tilting that pelvis forward. Inhale, reach those arms up to the sky. Deepen that bend in your knee here. Let your back heel sink down as well. It's not gonna touch, it's okay, but we're stretching through the calf. Open your heart. You can look up if you'd like. Still working on my balance. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. Turning those feet, bending that knee. Remember, tilting that pelvis forward, really opening through that inner thigh, and gently release. Taking that reverse warrior, placing that back hand on the thigh, palm faces behind you, and reach towards that back wall. Inhale, reach up. Holding that warrior two. Just for a moment, let's go into that side angle, arm rests, reaching those fingertips towards the front of your mat. If you turn your pinky slightly down, it'll let your shoulders sink a little bit. And then allow your shoulder to bring behind you, stacking one on top of the other. Let's take it back to warrior two. Still nice and deep through that knee, tucking those hips, and cartwheel those hands to frame your foot. Turning that back foot, we're in a low lunge now. Let's hold this runner's lunge. Now if you choose, you can already drop the knee, that's fine. But I want that knee over your heel. If you need to reposition, please do so. And then when you're ready, we will all drop our back knee. Good. So we're gonna place that back knee on our blanket and hold it right here. And again, you wanna gently sink into that heel, but we don't want that back to arch, all right? So we're opening through the front. You can flatten your foot behind you. Inhale, if you need to come up a little bit, you can. Reach those fingertips. If you'd like to look to the sky, you can. Now, if you feel good arching that back, that's on you. You can do that. Everybody's different. Exhale, release. Good. So here's where we're gonna come in, and we're gonna take those hands on the inside of our foot and walk our foot off to the side. This is called a lizard. So we're gonna take that knee and bring it off to the side, placing the weight on the blade of your foot. And you can go further if you'd like. This foot on mine doesn't go as far. And you can gently rock, but anytime we rock, it's very gentle. We're just allowing those hips to open. And if you'd like, you can come down onto the elbows. Remember, you can use your block. So here's an example on your block. And if you don't have a block, that's fine. And if you need a block, let me know. I have a bunch of them. I'd be happy to lend them out to you if that helps you at all, but probably grab a pretty sturdy box or something, or even a pillow is fine. And just hold it still, relaxing that head. Imagine pressing your chest slightly forward. So the more straight our spine is and the longer it is, the deeper the stretch through those hips. And then notice that knee slowly sinking farther away from your shoulder here. And whatever feels good to you, you can relax the head if that feels good. You can look forward if that feels better. Remember, all of our stretches are just stretches. I don't want you to feel any pulling. And to add on to this, we're gonna gently take that hand onto that knee, and you can use that arm to twist a little deeper. Now remember, I'm not pushing super hard on that thigh. It's more about opening the chest, creating a twist through that spine, and then still letting that knee sink. If you'd like, you can raise that arm up to the sky and let it float behind you, maybe rolling your wrists, keeping that ear and shoulder away from each other on that other side. And allowing all those emotions and stress and tension to come out of those hips as we exhale back to center, lifting ourselves, and then walk that foot back to center frame. We're going to curl that back foot, lift that back knee, and take that front foot back to our downward dog. Take a slow deep breath. You're welcome to pedal the heels. I don't know if you guys hear that, but someone is calling, and I hope it's not distracting you guys. And then take a slow deep breath. We're going to drop those knees very slowly and gently. And you're going to open your knees again, toes to touch, sitting back if that allows your body to do so, or if your knees allow you to do so. Rocking side to side. And let's drop down into that child's pose here, reaching those fingertips. Notice this second time you do this, how much better it feels. Both hips are open. Feeling a little more flexible. Arms and back, everything should feel really good. Okay, just resting that head. Imagine pressing that chest towards the earth and using your fingertips maybe to push your hips closer to your heels. You guys are keeping that head center. Hopefully my cueing, you shouldn't have to look at the screen too often. And then using those hands to push yourselves back up. And we're actually gonna stay here for a moment into our tabletop. So we're gonna place our hands underneath our shoulders and our knees underneath our hips. We're in a little table here. And I want you to round the back, tuck your chin into your chest, and really pull that belly button through your back. You kind of can't see with my big shirt, but we're gonna round not just our upper body, but our lower body as well. And then exhale, arching your back, pointing your elbows towards your knees will help you deepen that stretch. And imagine pushing your shoulder blades into your hips. And imagine a string from your belly button reaching to the front of your mat. And then you can even push your fingertips into the mat and towards your knees to really strengthen or lengthen through your belly button and core. Now let's do that a few times at your own pace. We're gonna start with our cat here, rounding our back, tucking your chin into your chest, pulling that belly button in, and then exhale into your cow. And I want you to do this at your own pace. So whatever you're doing at home, round and arch, and just creating some space. Now if you're tighter through your lower back, we were talking about rounding. Imagine pushing that tailbone straight down or forward to create more space through that lower back. And then let's hold it neutral spine. We're just gonna wiggle those hips again. But when you wiggle your hips, you're gonna turn your shoulder the opposite direction. So notice a little C shape in your spine. Getting through that low back should feel really good. And we got through those hips here, but we're gonna go again. And hang in there about 15 more minutes here. Hope you're feeling good. And then relax it to center, wiggle that head. Let's walk those fingertips all the way forward again. Curl your toes, and then lift those hips up to our downward dog. Exhale, pushing those hips back, take a breath. Looking at those fingertips, let's walk our feet back towards our hand. And this will be the last time that we're here. Go ahead and relax and wiggle your wrists if you'd like. Inhale up to a standing position. And then exhale, open your heart. Pushing those hips forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands and heart center. Take a breath. Good. Let me shut down that phone real quick. Trying to do both. This probably wasn't a good idea. All right. Sorry. We were interrupted. I know. Nana Kathy's calling and then Ari's calling. So I'm sorry, Felicia. All right. Let's get back. So, all right. So we're right back here. And what we're going to do is we're going to work through those hips in a standing position. This is my favorite stretch ever. And they teach us a lot. Sorry, Ari keeps calling. All right. I'll have Cole call him. All right. So we're going to do our hip stretch. Nothing like, real life, right? So take your right leg and bring it across. And we're going to bend that opposite knee. This is kind of hard if you're not with me to understand, but again, one of my favorite stretches. And I think, so what you need to do is rotate the hips around and press your hip off to the side. So we're getting right into that glute here. And if your leg is straight and you try to push your hip, it won't work. You need to bend and rotate to push. And the deeper you sit and the more you push your hip off to the side, the deeper the stretch right through that glute. And I call this the dent, where it kind of dents in when you're standing. And you want to push that spot out. And just allow your shoulders to relax. Take a breath. And then slowly rotate it out and just open the hips. Good, that should feel really good. We're gonna do the other side the same. So yoga isn't just about flowing. Yoga is about stretching, keeping that mind connected with your body. We're gonna bend the knee. I don't even know if I could do this side, to be honest with you. Bend the knee, and then rotate that hip off to the side. Doesn't quite look the way it should. But we're gonna bend that knee, push that hip off to the side, and feel that stretch right through the outside of that hip. Hi, Patrick. I hope you and Aida are doing this. You're not just watching, eating a bowl of cereal. Good, slowly rotate it up. Open your hips. Kick your heels behind you. This feels really good too. Big inhale, reach up nice and tall. And then let's exhale, relax the arms. We're gonna take our feet off to the side, last standing stretch for now. And bend the knees. We're gonna push our hips slightly back and then drop ourselves down into kind of a sumo squat. Now you can either have your hands or your elbows, but we're not going into a frog here. This is a different kind of stretch. So we're gonna hold it here and just open your hips. So you do want your hips back because I want you to open through the inner thighs. When we drop down, it's a different kind of stretch. It's more through the groin. And I wanna get you guys through that inner thigh and back. So with our back flat, it allows us to open up through that sacrum, your low back. Now we're gonna place those hands on the thighs, or you can hold your elbows down there. But I'm gonna place them so I can drop my opposite shoulder and then slowly looking up to the sky or to your ceiling. Now if your knee pushes out, turn your toe out too. And just let your shoulders sink to wherever feels good to you and create that twist through your lower body. Very slowly into the center, and then switching over to the other side. Then drop that shoulder towards the opposite knee. Look up to the sky if that feels good for you. So we're stretching through the inner thigh and through that spine. Slowly into the center. We're gonna round the back. Just hold it halfway, stay right here. And then exhale, kind of like a cat-cow in a wide stance. Round and flatten. Maybe arching just a tiny bit, rounding and flattening. Let's roll the shoulders, round that body up to a standing position. Hold it here. Now counterbalancing that, we're gonna place our hands on our lower back. Toes are turned out. Bend your knees, push your hips forward. Feel that stretch right through that groin right here, right through that hip flexor, using your hands to support your back. And we're gonna just gently press our hips forward. Now if you'd like, you can bend your knees deeper. Okay, that's totally up to you. If you wanna look up, you can look up too. So whatever feels good to you, open your heart. Slowly, take your time as you come on up. Wiggle your hips. Walking those feet together. Take a big breath for me, please. Exhale. Oh, the sun's coming out. It feels so good out here. Being grateful for all this and the birds. Except my dogs keep bringing in rabbits and it's making me sad. Let's slowly drop down into that forward fold. Last forward fold, just bending the knees, rotating those hips back and forth. Creating some space again through that lower back. Good. And we're gonna actually drop down into a seated position. So the easiest way is to cross your legs and then just use your hands to sit down. And then we're in a seated position. So we're gonna finish off here. And I want you to sit whatever's comfortable for you to start. So you can cross your legs, you can have your legs wide, you can have your legs in a butterfly, just whatever feels good to you. But I want you to sit tall through that spine. So feel those sit bones, arms at your side. Drop your shoulders away from your ears and let's just gently take it down. And then all the way over the other side. So we're working on hips and back today. Obviously, we worked on some other stuff, but everything really relates to those hips and back. And if we're tight through our shoulders and our neck, that's connected to our back, right? So we want to make sure that we're getting all those little muscles along our body Head comes up, gently dropping that chin to your chest. Keeping that spine nice and straight. So if you notice yourself starting to round or sink, straighten that back again. Kind of reminding yourself about your little bubble and about your space, but remembering what's outside of that bubble and being grateful for it all. Head comes up, rolling the shoulders back, loosening up those shoulders a few more times, and bringing those hands behind you. You can grab them behind you and roll your shoulders so you're nice and straight. And if you'd like, you can lift your arms off your back. Slowly releasing it, allowing those shoulders to sink again, and keeping it nice and tall. Again, sitting however you're comfortable. Just bring one arm across your chest. Take your shoulder blade and press it towards your rib cage. And if you'd like, you can look over that shoulder. We're pressing that arm against our chest. Slowly releasing the head, arm comes behind you. Feel free to shake it out. And let's do the other side, bringing that arm across the chest. Remember, dropping your shoulder blade, feeling that stretch of the shoulders, looking over that shoulder if you'd like. Still engaging through your abdominals, sitting nice and tall. Sort of bringing it down. Head comes center, arm comes center. Shake everything out. Good. So to finish off, let's take a nice big deep breath. Exhale, take your arms to the side, and we're all going to take our legs straight in front of you. And just wiggle your hips so you're sitting on those sit bones. You can push your butt cheeks back a little bit if you'd like, so you can really sit. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, we're going to reach those toes. It's okay if you're not able to reach your toes, wherever you'd like to reach, but keep that chest tall. And then maybe shift from side to side. And as I shift side to side, I'm almost trying to lengthen one leg at a time, feeling it through the back of the knee and through the hamstring. Holding it center, gently rounding the back, dropping. And if you want to take your arms underneath your shoulders, it allows a little bit of body weight to help you relax. Tucking your chin into your chest, feeling that stretch go all the way up through your shoulders into your neck. If it's too deep, come on up. Slowly round and roll up. Roll the shoulders. Those of you joining me late, I'm sorry, we're almost done, but you guys can go back all day long, and if you're on Facebook, you can save it. We're also putting everything on our YouTube channel. It's just Sweat Cardio and Yoga YouTube channel, so do make sure to save everything or share it. We're going to take it down onto our backs here. So I'm just going to face sideways so I can see you guys and you can see me a little bit better, but we're going to very slowly, you can hold on to your shins or maybe your thighs. We're just going to slowly roll back onto our back and hug those knees into the chest. And allow your shoulders to fall towards the earth too. So if you feel yourself really trying to reach, just let your arms relax and just use your fingertips. But I want you to feel that hug. It's okay to hug yourself, love yourself. It's okay to give yourself that time. And if we're all together, and if you guys have a lot of kids in your home, maybe you're locked in a closet doing this for a little peace and quiet, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, let's take our arms off to the side. And let's gently take those knees over to your right. And if you'd like, you can look over that left shoulder and just feel your knees sink down. If you need a little deeper stretch, you'll take your hand and place it on the thigh and very gently press down. And then you can try to take that opposite shoulder and gently press it down. It's okay if it doesn't touch. Just take this time to relax. Feel that body sinking into the earth. I hear birds. And then go ahead, take that arm out. And then knees come through the center to the other side. I'm going to have to do a class in the nighttime. Looking over that opposite shoulder. We have about 1 million frogs. So you don't need any music, anything. The frogs literally are like a symphony. And they're almost so loud you can't even sleep with the windows open. But it's pretty cool. And then taking it slowly into the center. You can rock from side to side. Taking these last few moments for yourself. And then rolling the knees. Let's take those knees a little bit over the hips. So when you roll, you can feel those abdominals engage. They can be real small, and if you want to create bigger circles, feel free to do so. And you should feel amazing after. So drink lots of water, maybe a little protein. And as we notice, you know, you go to the shelves and all the junk food, all the canned food is gone, but then all the fresh fruit and all the vegetables are still there. So maybe think about grabbing some of that. And then dropping those feet down. Let's extend those legs all the way out. And just stretching all the way up, arms over the head. Feel free to squeeze your glute muscles. And stretch, stretch, wiggle if you'd like. Exhale, release, keeping those arms above your head for just a moment. We're going to do that one more time, and I want you to tighten everything for a second. Reach your fingertips, reach your toes, squeeze everything. Maybe point as hard as you can. Create a fist in your palms. Tighten that belly, squeeze your butt cheeks, everything. And then take a deep breath. Exhale, let everything go. Arms to your side, let your feet fall. Feel free to turn your palms up, and we're just going to take about 10 seconds here. If you want to go longer in your savasana, you're welcome to. You have the rest of the day to do whatever it is you need to do. If you're home and you're staying home, we're tackling our garage. Still cleaning out our gym. So thank you for all the support that you have given me. I really appreciate it. So please keep following. And I want you to take these last few seconds in our savasana to breathe in all that love that supports you. And then as you exhale, why don't you share that love with others? So just imagine sharing all that love with the people that maybe you can't see right now, but maybe you can FaceTime them or go on some type of conference call with them. And taking that one last deep breath. Exhale. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. You might be still in your laying down position, in your savasana. And then feel free to hug your knees into the chest again. And when you're ready, you're going to roll onto one side and then push yourself into a seated position. If you'd like to stay in that fetal position on your side, you're welcome to do so. And we're just going to go ahead into a seated position. You can sit any way that's comfortable again for you. Placing those hands in heart center if you're finishing with me. And I apologize for the interruption, but real life, and we're all here together, and my son, who doesn't live with us, likes to call us a lot, but I'm glad because that means we're close. So taking one last deep breath here. All together. The badass in me honors the badass in you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for allowing me to guide you in this practice. Namaste. Peace out, people.